Welcome. Today I will be paraphrasing, summarizing, and sharing for the June 16th Al-Anon readings, Encourage to Change, and a Little Time for Myself. We'll begin with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I will take a moment to look this over. The question is, when do I need to act as if? I love this passage. So this is about the interpretation of God. And this person says when they came to Al-Anon, they didn't believe in God. But in the closing, they heard, take what you liked and leave the rest. And that was enough to have this person keep coming back to meetings. And the person says they feel hope in meetings. They feel that their higher power is that voice deep within, calling them towards Al-Anon's spiritual principles. They feel like they still don't really believe in God, but they take what they like and they leave the rest. They act as if and ask for the willingness to believe, and that works for them. Today's reminder: our spirituality is unique to each of us. And in Al-Anon, we have the freedom to believe whatever we want. The quote is from How Al-Anon Works for Families and Friends of Alcoholics. We use whatever seems useful and we disregard the rest. So the question is, when do I need to act as if? Well, it's so funny because I would say I 100% believe in a higher power. Yet, I still have fear, and I still, I mean, that's the biggest thing, I think, fear and worry. To me, sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. They feel very similar to me. It's like that uncomfortable feeling of not being in control, of like, it's hard to describe, like forces working against me. I don't know what forces those are. It's so hard to describe because I'm really at my most comfortable and peaceful when I believe that everyone is doing their best and people just want to be loved and accepted. And then things happen, like what my stepmother and my father are going through right now, and then I question like the whole like system. But here's the thing. My stepmother was very, very sick when she went into the hospital. And I'm pretty sure the reason why she went into the hospital for 2 very serious infections, I'm pretty sure that is cleared. So even though it has not been a smooth experience as far as insurance and being discharged and not having the care that we thought she needed, those infections seem to have cleared, and she seems to be recovering in very small increments. So, although I still believe the system to be very difficult to navigate, not user friendly, and like I've said in previous videos, I had a horrible experience 15 years ago with my son at a different hospital, but in the same state, which I've never actually said what state I live in, but I guess like I do that for like safety reasons, not for the wonderful people who always watch my videos, but for, you just never know when you're on the internet. So, in any case, now that we're more than 2 weeks in, maybe it's all working the way it's supposed to work. I don't know. I don't know. It's really weird. It was a weird sound by the window. Like the screen was adjusting for some reason. I don't know. That was bizarre. In any case, when do I need to act as if? When I doubt that my higher power is looking over me and that my father and my stepmother and every single person in the world has their own higher power and that their higher powers are looking out for them and sending each person messages of guidance and love. Sometimes I have to act as if, because when things happen, it can seem like I don't understand, and I get concerned, and I'm getting distracted by a little tiny bunny across the street in our neighbor's driveway eating a plant of some sort. Oh my gosh, it's so precious. Oh my gosh. So that's when I have to say to myself, I know it's true. I'm just having a tough time, so I'm questioning my faith in this. But I know deep down inside it's true. Deep down inside of me, I know that all of that is true because it just feels right. And too many things have happened in my life that make me truly believe that something greater than myself, something much greater than myself, is looking over me. So, it feels good to say that out loud. Makes me feel like I can I can relax a little. These readings are so good. They're so good. I'm going to take a minute and look this over. Another diamond about detaching with love, about letting people experience the consequence of their actions. We learn to detach with love. Detaching with love can actually help build healthy, respectful, loving relationships. Even if we have the best intentions, if we take over other people's responsibilities, we could be keeping them from feeling good about something that they've done. We could inadvertently be communicating a lack of respect for our loved one. But when we detach with love, we offer support. Today's reminder, we learn the difference between help and interference. And the quote is from Al-Anon Faces Alcoholism. Respect for another's personhood is how we could define detachment. That's interesting. So I'm actually going to give an example of something that's happened recently that I don't think I've talked about that doesn't have anything to do with my dad and my stepmom. Because there are other things going on in my life. My life is continuing. But the situation with my dad and my stepmom has really been, in the forefront of my mind. But my son, who's going to be 30 in 4 days from when this recording is published, called last week. I love him so much. I'm so proud of him. Oh my gosh. But this is something that, this is like an ongoing thing. He calls me from a car dealership and says, Mom, can you loan me $1,000? And I don't know how much I've talked about this. I gave my son a sizable amount of money, what I call sizable, just about 6 months ago, because he had run his financial numbers and he just needed this amount of money to set himself straight. He was going to sell the vehicle that he had because he didn't need it because of his work vehicle, and he had worked it all out. And now, 6 months later, he still has that job. He still has access to that vehicle, but he's at a car dealership to get himself his own vehicle. And he wants a loan. It's a loan, Mom. It's a loan. God bless his soul. God bless his soul. I don't think he's ever fully paid me back for any money that I've ever given him. And when I gave him that money 6 months ago, I said, this is it. Like, I am retired. I cannot afford to do this anymore. And it had taken me like the previous calendar year to save all that money, and then I gave it to him. And there is some sense of that feels good on some level that I'm able to help him. But this close to doing that, it really made me realize that like I can't do this anymore. And so I said to him, let me think about it. And he knows me so well because I just don't want to say no. So he said, Mom, I'm at the car dealership. Just say no if you don't want to do it. He said, and he said all the things. He knows me so well. He said all the things. He said, I still love you. This doesn't change anything in our relationship. Nothing has changed. I still love you. I still respect you. We're good. Don't worry about it. I'm not upset. Just tell me if you don't want to do it. And I said, I'm so sorry, honey. I just don't want to do it. And he said, it's fine. He said, Mom, you understand? It's fine. I even thought, I think I started crying a little bit because I was like so uncomfortable. Like, saying no. And I was so tired from like dealing with all the stuff with my dad and my stepmom, and it was a combination of things. But he was like, it's fine, Mom. I'll work it out. Don't worry. So that was it. We told each other we loved each other, and we got off the phone. And right after that, my sponsor, who's partially psychic, called just to see how I was doing. And I told her what had happened. She was like, "Oh, honey, that's an easy one. You shouldn't be upset about that at all. That's an easy one. You know you had to say no." And I was like, "Yeah, I know, but." But that to me is a really good example of detachment with love. Like, he's going to be 30 in 4 days. He's got to figure out what kind of vehicle he can afford. And I do not need to be part of that anymore. So just trying to work my program to the best of my ability every day. And I know I made the right decision. And that doesn't mean it feels good, though, you know? That doesn't mean it. I think I would feel worse if I gave him the money, but it still is like, ugh, ugh. Anyway, we'll close out with the serenity prayer and 3 mindful breaths. Here we go. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Sending you love. Take care.